So truth is powerful. Truth is powerful because of the spirit. Truth and spirit are one. Yah's word is truth. Yah's word is spirit. Right? So truth is not more powerful because of someone's personality. Because their personality may be boisterous or whatever the case may be. Truth is not weak because of someone's personality, because their personality may be more mild. Truth is not more truth or more powerful because someone says it loud. Truth is not less powerful because someone says it's soft. When it is truth and the spirit is present, the spirit does what the spirit does. It's not by power of man. It's not by the might of man, but it's by my spirit, says the Most High Yah. It's his spirit that empowers truth to penetrate the heart of man. And man is free to reject it. Man is free to receive it. So it is not man, right? Truth is only weakened by flesh. And then because now it's no longer truth when flesh gets involved. When flesh gets involved, you may have true information. You may have factual information. You may have accurate information. But unless the spirit is added to that, that's all that you have. Some people may take it, some people may receive it, but when you put your flesh in it, you have now begun to dilute and to dismantle. You've weakened what could have been truth and power and spirit. You've weakened it with your flesh. So people seem to believe that it is us. The only thing that we can do is to get in the way. If we get out of the way, then Yah is able to move. Right? So it is the Most High Yah who cultivates the heart. Right? If I throw a seed, if I lay a seed down on hard, you know how you go outside and the soil is just hard. If I go outside and lay a seed on top of that, or if I go outside and toss a seed at it, either way, that ground is not ready to receive that seed. But if that ground has been cultivated and the soil has been tossed up, right, it doesn't matter if I lay the seed down on it or if I toss the seed down to it. The ground is broken up and it's receiving that seed, right? So the heart has to be cultivated to receive the seed. Our hearts have to be cultivated to receive the word of Yah. So it's not us. it is the Most High who cultivates, right? He is the one that brings the increase. So sometimes we come all boisterous and we sometimes can get an immediate result, but it's just as the seed that was sown and it sprouted up quickly, but because it had no roots, it died. Right? So sometimes we can do things in a certain way that gets people attention and we see immediate results. But when you look 4, 5, 6 years down the line, that did not proceed unto good fruit. Right? You do things, sometimes you draw attention. People do things, oh, this is going to draw people in. This is going to, when you're dealing in flesh, you don't understand what you're doing. You're dealing with flesh. Flesh is attracted and drawn in to flesh, right? So even though it appears to be the things of Yah that we're talking about or dealing in, or the house of Yah, when you deal in flesh, you will draw in flesh. When you use fleshly methods and you draw according to your flesh, then you will draw in people that are drawn to your flesh. And things will it'll look like lots of things sprouting up. But when you look down the line, which is what people don't wait around for, when you look down the line, you'll see that none of that continue to grow and bear the right type of fruit because it wasn't sown in the spirit. But when things are sown in the spirit, when it's ready, when it's time, it will sprout up and grow and bear the right fruit. Whether it happens quickly or whether it happens slowly, right? Because when a seed is sown in the heart, a lot of times is you don't see anything for quite some time, but roots are growing, right? So we have to allow the Most High to do his process. The Most High has a process, right? So imagine this. Imagine an army of people. Imagine an army of people. Imagine if you know any 18, 19, 20-year-olds, imagine right out of high school, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds. Imagine they are all recruited into the army, right? They're recruited into the army. We have 1,000 18, 19, 20-year-olds. They're recruited into the army, and they are sent directly from being recruited. They're sent directly into war. Okay? No training. They're just sent into war. We're at war. We don't have time to train you. Here is some weaponry. Here's some grenades and some guns. And here's all kinds of other machinery. Get on the tank, and all these type of things, and just go, because the enemy's coming. Just get on there and go, right? Imagine that. I would imagine that some of those people may have some predisposed skills. They may have some skill sets that will allow them to do okay. They might be able to get some of the enemy, right? They may be able to do some things, but the majority of them, they're going to make a hot mess. They're going to pull a grenade, and they're going to blow their own hand off. They're going to pull out the gun, and they're going to shoot their own company, right? Because they have not been trained to be effective. They've just been given tools, and they're not trained to be effective. But imagine you take that same group of people and you train them, right? You train the person to be a sharp shooter. So what they can aim at something and be precise and shoot that thing. Train them to be able to have restraint when they're using the gun or when they're pulling out the grenade, to have a right timing, right restraint. Learn how to aim, practice, and get the skill set, right? You take the time to train them physically in what they're doing, but also mentally, to be able to develop the right mindset in what they're doing, emotionally, so that they're not out there just triggered and they just mad. That they're one of their partners bumps upside them and they so emotionally triggered they turn around and shoot them because they have not been matured yet, right? They're emotionally. So you have to be in the right emotional, mental, and physical maturity and training to be effective at what you're doing, right? So you want to be able to be effective. So when we're in the truth, handling the word of Yah, we don't want the word of Yah to be a weapon that is destroying the very people that we're supposed to be in a team with. We're shooting our own body. We're shooting ourselves in the foot. We're blowing off our own hand because we're not taking the time to cultivate maturity, cultivate the skill set. We're playing roles that we have not been equipped to play. Not everybody is a mouthpiece. Not everybody is called to be the mouthpiece. We have different roles in the body. A hand and a foot play different parts. They both are essential. I don't want to lose my hand or my foot. And I don't want my foot to be acting like a hand. It got me crawling around like this. I mean, my hand to be acting like a foot. It had me down on the ground. And my foot acting like a hand trying to pick up my fork. I want things to operate in order. And that's what we don't have as a body of people right now in this awakening is we don't have order, we don't have training, we don't have maturity. Everybody thinks that just because they have true information that they have the truth, right? And just like I said, that army, they'll hit some things. Well, even though they might not be trained, you may actually shoot and get a target, right? And when we're in our state of zeal, we will be, when we are in our state of immaturity. This is how great Yah is. When I say Yah is multifaceted, he knows what he's doing. When we are in our state of immaturity and we're just zealous and we're new and we're just excited and we just want to tell everybody everything, the Most High Yah will use that right? He uses us in that state because in that state, we're willing to say and do things that later on down the line we may not be willing to say and do. So the Most High will use that to scatter seed, Now, a lot of that is going to be offensive to certain segments of people because we just green. We not we shooting all over the place, right? So for the most part, many people may be turned off by that. But there's a segment of people, 20% of the people may have been in a place where their hearts were cultivated enough that it don't matter if we was throwing a seed, dropping a seed, softly, hardly, it don't matter. Their hearts were ready to receive in that season. So the Most High allowed us to encounter them so that they will receive the word and the Most High can continue to cultivate them, right? So the Most High will use even our immature and ignorant zeal to be able to, we might have said the wrong things the wrong way, but the Most High will still use that because the Most High is the Most High. He's loving. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to not waste things, right? He's not wasteful. He knows how to move within systems that are even broken. Okay, he's done that all throughout history, right? He's moved through things that is not his intention, his will. It was not his intention for Israel to have a king, right? That's not what Yah wanted. He was supposed to be the king, but yet he allowed it, and he moved and worked within it, right? Even though it's not what he wanted, and he's done that with many things. It is some of y'all going to disagree with this, but I do not believe that polygamy is the will of the Most High. However, he moved, the children of Israel came through it. He moved despite the will of man, right? Yah hates divorce, right? But because of the hardness of man's hearts, he allowed a certificate of divorce to be given, right? Yah moves through our different cultural decisions despite it. Not that he endorses it, not that he desires it, but despite it, he will not allow it to limit him in his work. He will not allow the things and the systems of man to limit him and his work that he desires to do. Yah is not limited by anything. Yah does not say, oh man, they're doing this, so I guess I can't get up in there. Yah is not limited by any of the works of man. So wherever Yah's people are, Yah will be there in the midst, working and doing what Yah does and what he will do because it's him. So when we're in our state of zeal, Yah's going to use that. Okay? When we're in our state of wisdom and maturity, Yah's going to use that. There's some people who will call us soft, call us slow, call us whatever, because they don't understand. But we will speak to the people who Yah has designed and intended for us to speak to. And those who can't hear won't hear. So we have to understand that Yah is like a diamond. He is multifaceted. We are very narrow-minded in the way that we think, in the way that we approach things, in the way that we think that Yah moves, in the way that we think things must happen, right? We are very narrow-minded, right? Okay, being on a narrow path and being narrow-minded are not the same things, okay? The narrow path is multifaceted, like a diamond. We on that narrow path, and it's like brilliant, and it's oh my. That's how we stay in awe of Yah, because we're like, look at all these dimensions on this narrow path. This path is narrow. We've been set apart and have said no to all these other things, but this narrow path is brilliant and multifaceted and all these sides and beauty to it. That's how we stay in love with Yah, because we're like, wow, whoa, look at Yah. You understand? He's so deep. He's so good. Right? But we become so narrow-minded. Yah is this. It's black and it's white. It's this and it's that. We don't understand the side. Ooh, spirit. Okay? Spirit is like wind. Spirit is like water. It's able to get into all of the crevices. It's able to, if I pour water, if my room becomes flooded with water, it's going to get everything wet. Everything. It's going to go behind stuff, under stuff. It's going to get in everywhere, right? Because water is fluid. It's a flexibility. Wind, it'll blow everything in all directions because it's a flexibility. It's a fluidity to it, right? Fire is consuming. It gets into everything, right? That's how the spirit is. The spirit is able to, it's this word called nuance, right? When we're in the spirit, we're able to deal with nuances. It's called this, like when dealing with the law, the spirit of the law versus the letter of the law, which is black and white, which it has no spirit. There's no ability to maneuver and navigate, right? It's not like the wind. It's not like we're not able to navigate. So when we don't have the spirit, we're not able to deal with things. We can't judge righteously. We can't discern. We can't move. We can't flow. We're rigid. We're rigid. We're narrow-minded. We're rigid. And we can't, and Yah is not rigid. And Yah is only able to deal with rigidness in one way. So he can use you. He's still going to use you with your rigid self, because he's not going to be hindered by your rigidness. He's going to still use you with your rigidness, but all you can do is this one thing. all you can effectively do is this one thing. And he's going to use that too. But it's a hindrance unto you, right? And it's a hindrance unto the people, right? So we don't want to be stumbling blocks, is what we don't want to be. So the more we come into the spirit, the less we are a stumbling block, and the more we can move and flow with the spirit, and the more we're able to do, right? But for some reason, we are not seeing the spirit, right? It's not for some reason. It's because we are in the flesh. We are in a state of immaturity, and it's the pride in us that does not. Pride keeps us from humbling ourselves to acknowledge and understand that there is growth, there is process, that there is more than what we see, and we think that what we see is everything. I see clearly. I see it. I see it clearly. Instead of taking things and allowing the Most High to minister to us and teach us, let us grow and learn and know that there's still more that I need to see and learn. Help me to see this way. Help me to see that way. A multifaceted diamond, right? You see it from this dimension, but then this is gonna give you another angle, and then you're gonna get when you have a bird's eye view of something. You're seeing all various sides. You're seeing more of the picture. You're seeing a bigger picture, and when you're able to move around, you can see the different size and dimensions of the diamond. So we have to grow to be able to see more, to see not just in one dimension, but see in 3D, right? We have to be able to see more. And that comes with maturity and growth in the spirit, so that we can be more effective vessels, more effective tools, right? For some reason, we think that just because we come hard, just because we direct, just because we boom, you know what I mean? Yah will not be hindered. He will still use those things. But don't think for a second that is an upgrade, right? Because, listen, if I cut you, if I go in my kitchen, get a knife and cut you, you are going to need to go to the ER, right? You're going to be bleeding. Let's say you have a tumor. You tell me you have a tumor in your arm, and I'm like, oh no, that could be cancerous. I need to help you. Let me save you. I'm about to cut your arm and get that tumor up out of your arm right now. We ain't wasting time. I'm gonna pray, and I'm going to cut that tumor out your arm right now. Come on, go in the kitchen, get a knife, boom. Come on, we ain't playing around. It's serious. This is serious. This might be life or death. Come on, let me cut that thing up out of you right now. You're going to need to go to the ER, okay? I love you. My intentions were good, but you're going to need to go to the ER, because this knife ain't it. I am not a surgeon. I done cut your artery. Now you're going to need a blood transfusion. I intended well, right? I tried, okay? Do you blame me for trying? Yes. You should blame me for trying, because that's out of my lane. That's out of my sphere. But the funny thing is, I take you to the ER, a surgeon will cut you and have a completely different result. A surgeon, I'll cut you, have one result. A surgeon will cut you and have a whole different result. Why? Because the surgeon's going to use the right tool. The surgeon is trained on what to do. The surgeon is going to use a restraint that I didn't use. The surgeon has a context that they're gonna operate within, right? The surgeon is going to save your life because of the training and the skillfulness and the restraint, in the precision, right? The surgeon's going to save your life cutting you. But I almost took your life cutting you. Loved you. So love, right? Our zeal must go through a filter, right? Love is neither love manifests in a variety of ways, right? If I love you, I would restrain myself from trying to cut you in the arm and take you to the ER so that you can be properly dealt with, right? Right? I'm gonna take you to the surgeon so that you can be properly dealt with, right? So Yah knows what he's doing. Yah knows what he's doing. What we have to do as a body is stop attacking each other. We are supposed to be edifying and building up each other at all times. There's a time to tear down. When we're tearing down, we have to know what it is that we are tearing down. We have to be precise about what we're tearing down. You're not trying to tear down a person. So in order to save the person, you want to tear down a lie. Let's tear down this lie, right? You don't tear down people while you're tearing down a lie. You tear down the lie, right? So that the person can be saved. We tear down people in the effort of tearing down a lie. We tearing down everything. Why? Because it's a lie. We need to be said. It need to be done, and it need to be now. Flesh. We keep making excuses for flesh. We keep making excuses for our flesh. Yah is not frantic, right? We in urgent times, but Yah is not frantic. We always have been in urgent times because people only live to be less than 100 years old for the most part. Some people only live to be 10 years old. People are dying every day, always. Yes, the time is getting short, but people's time have always been short. We never know when we gonna leave here. People leave every day, right? So our time, it's urgent from the time we are born, right? We've always been in an urgent state, but Yah has always had a plan and intention for each person that is his. The people who ain't his ain't none of our business. The people who will never be his will never be his, right? But there are people who are his, and they're in different phases and in stages of their development, right? And the Most High desires to cultivate them. He desires to cultivate their heart to receive him. And our job is to not get in the way, but to help facilitate that process. Patience is not slow. Wisdom is not soft. Okay? True information is not truth without the Spirit. So we got to get out of this rhetoric, because every time somebody speaks about being accurate in correction, people start to say things like, correction is as if there's not a right way to correct and a wrong way to correct. An effective way, let me say it this way, it's not an effective way to correct and an ineffective way to correct. No matter what we do, 80% of the people will feel one way and 20% will feel another way. So whether we're reckless, some people will still be saved. If we are accurate and precise, and some people still will not be saved. You know what I mean? So no matter what we do, Yah is not hindered. When the timing is right, he's going to do what he's going to do. However, you will have a consequence to pay if you are being reckless with Yah's people, right? So the goal is, I don't want you to be a stumbling block to yourself, and I don't want you to be a stumbling block to Yah's people, right? For Yah to have to clean up. So a person who could have received the truth now, but they're not going to receive it for another 7 years because of somebody's recklessness in dealing with them and handling them, right? Outside of the spirit of Yah. Okay? So wisdom is not soft. Patience is not slow. Okay? Love is patient. Love is kind, right? Love corrects. Love instructs. All of these things, whether you're bringing correction and truth, still is done in the same spirit. It's still the same spirit operating. There's no time where it's accurate to say, let me get in the flesh. People give examples about where if you're trying to pull somebody out the middle of the street, or if they're about to get hit by a car, or if somebody's about to, in a burning house, in those contexts and in those situations, yes, you're dealing with flesh things. Yes, I need to hurry up and pull you out this house. That is completely accurate in those situations. That don't make that accurate in every situation. We're not dealing with that. We're dealing with the souls of man. So urgency looks different in the spirit, right? By all means, we must urgently surrender and submit ourselves to the spirit and allow ourselves to be purified. We got to urgently, each one of us have to urgently get in position. That's what we have to do. It's urgent. Not that I get out here and tell you something. It's urgent that I get in position so that I can hear what the spirit is telling me to do, where he's telling me to be, how he's telling me to say it. It's urgent that I get delivered from my anger so that I don't say the wrong thing to you, that one word turns you away. And you needed to hear that word. Y'all cultivated that moment for you to hear that word. But I got in my flesh and was like, so it's urgent for me to cultivate. It's urgent for me to surrender and submit to the Spirit of the Most Yah in all things and in all ways, so that I'm in position to do, say, and move the way that Yah intends for me to do, say, and move in the right season, so that he does not have to come and clean up behind me. So it's urgent for us to get ourselves to where we should be, so that Yah can do the work that he has already laid out and planned to do. He knows how he's going to save his people. He knows how he's going to bring deliverance to his people. He knows. So he's trying to cultivate us to be in position so that we can play the role, because we are his hands and feet in this earth. And you can't tell me for a second that this Hebrew Israelite movement has not done major damage. There are many people who are in the church dying because they will not receive it. Look, but to choose between chaos and disorder or what they're already dealing with, they're just going to stick with what they're already dealing with because of the chaos and disorder. Because they have the spirit, they can discern what's not the spirit of Yah. So it is imminent that those who think that they have true information come into truth in spirit, so that the people who need to receive it can receive it, because what they will discern is truth in spirit, and they won't be discerning all of this flesh. They are rightly discerning flesh. And it is urgent that we grow up in the spirit and allow the Most High to cultivate us and to to circumcise our hearts, to circumcise our flesh, so that we are operating as a well-oiled machine, so that we are flowing together in the spirit, so that we are one spirit, one mind, and one unity. We can't even keep the feast days anywhere near the same because of our pride and our ego. If we can't even get simple fleshly things right, does not that ring a bell that something is wrong? Something is wrong. We're not listening. We're not hearing. We're not humbling ourselves. No one can convince me that there's not a grave spirit of self-righteousness, a grave spirit of disorder, of error, of arrogance, of pride. It is grievous what is going on amongst this Hebrew Israelite, what has become a religion. It is a religion, just like Christianity is in complete disorder in its own ways because it became a religion. It's a religion wrapped around the truth of Christ, of the Messiah. And then a religion and things of man got wrapped around it. In this Hebrew Israelite movement, the truth, the simple truth of who the descendants of the 12 tribes are, that truth has come and now have a whole religion wrapped around it. We got to discern the traditions of man, the doctrines of man, the flesh of man versus the truth in the spirit. Yah is not pleased with any of it on any side. It doesn't matter what you label yourself as. It doesn't matter what you label yourself as. Yah, flesh and spirit. Those are the two divisions. Flesh and spirit. Truth and lies. Right? Obedience and disobedience. But flesh and spirit. Okay? Sheep and goat. Yah's children, not Yah's children. Those are the only two divisions. And people with all kinds of labels, no matter what you label yourself, ultimately, you're going to fall under one of those two divisions. Right? So yes, the time is urgent. The time is urgent for us to check ourselves, for us to know what is our assignment. What am I called to be? Am I called to be a mouthpiece? When Isaiah, who was a prophet, he was called to be a prophet. And the first thing he said, woe unto me. Now, Yah had already called him to be a prophet, but the first thing he recognized is, woe unto me. I'm a man of unclean lips, and I'm amongst the people of unclean lips. He recognized that first. The Most High had to touch his lips, have the Malachim, the messenger, to come and touch his lips. He had to bring purification. And then he was able to be sent to go and do the work. Have you been through the proper purification, the proper training? Or did you just run and go do the work? Paul was trained in the Torah and understood all those things. But when he had his encounter with the Messiah, he had to go away for a while. Right? Before he came back. Are you being trained by the Spirit of Yah? Or are you just running out on your own cognizance? Are you just running out there on your own? Do you know what your spiritual gifting is? Do you know what your calling is? Do you know what Yah is specifically cultivating you to be able to do? Do you know which weapon that you are? If you are a grenade in the kingdom, you still have to be an accurate grenade. You can't be a grenade just blowing up on people. You got to be precise in the accurate grenade. So allow Yah to cultivate you to be the grenade that's in his hands. Okay, if you are a banner that's just being held up, you want to be the correct, you want your banner to be saying the right thing. Okay? You want to be cultivated. What is your role? Do you know your role? Do you know your assignment? If you're not called to be a mouthpiece or if you're not called to be a teacher, you're not going to be cultivated and have the patience and the mindset. A teacher has to have a certain way of seeing, a certain way of learning, a certain way of understanding. You have to be cultivated to be able to have the patience and the wisdom and insight to teach people. So if you're not cultivated to that, but you set yourself up to be a teacher, it's a problem, right? There's people that set themselves up to be these type of pastors, but you have not been cultivated. You don't care about sheep. You have not been cultivated to care about the sheep. So that's a problem. So now they're left without a watchman because you set yourself up. There are roles. There are giftings. There's somebody that's supposed to be dealing with hospitality. You're supposed to have a spirit of hospitality to deal with people in a certain way, but you're trying to be a mouthpiece instead, right? We have roles to play, but we are ignorant of a lot of these things because we're not taking the time to go through and allow Yah to cultivate us. Because we've come out of organized environments, we don't have accountability. We don't have order. We don't have leadership. We don't have discipleship. We're missing a lot of elements. So we have to surrender to the Spirit of Yah. Yes, the time is short for us to be playing these games. The time is short for us to be saying and doing things recklessly just because the internet allows you to have an automatic platform. Is only giving you an opportunity to get yourself into a lot of trouble and to cause a lot of trouble in other people's environments who choose to engage with you. Just because it's there doesn't mean that you need to fall into the trap of it. Don't allow social media and these platforms to put you into, to allow you to fall into a trap and to set a trap for your own feet and for the other people. Wake up. The awakening is continual. Okay? The awakening is continual. The awakening is a process. It's a continual process. Okay? We're continually learning more about ourselves, more about Yah, more about this world, more about our walk, more about people. We're growing, we're awakening, we're awakening until we are in the brightness of his light. Okay? We have not yet come into the fullness of his light. So know that you are going to wake up some more. It's not just about the facts of what the world is doing. We think we're awake. I did a series a while back called Wake Up Remnant. It's on my YouTube channel. And it's several weeks. And talked about the awakening process. Right? You're not, it's more than just waking up. You're not woke just because you know what's going on in this world. You feel like you understand all the wickedness in the church and all the wickedness in the government and all the wickedness in this entertainment and all. That's one segment of waking up. Waking up also has to do with waking up to who Yah is and waking up to who you are. Not just waking up to your physical identity being Israel. It's far more than that. You got to wake up to the fullness of your identity as a son in the Mashiach. In the Messiah, okay? All right, family. I think that's it for my for what I have to say for now for this. I've said some of these things in other videos. I've said it in written posts. This is a verbal response to the written post that I just or a verbal expounding upon the written post that I did on Facebook and Instagram recently. Just to give more words to that and to bring together from some of the other messages. Yah is really beautiful. This walk is really beautiful. But our perspectives vary greatly on how we see it. And that could be beautiful too when we're in the spirit. It becomes a hindrance when we're in the flesh and we bring our flesh into the conversation, right? Unwilling to surrender that flesh, right? I don't think we see the flesh because we're blinded by zeal and by pride, right? We all deal with pride. We all deal with pride. And as some of us have already gone through the Feast of Unleavened Bread, some of us are getting ready to go through the Feast of Unleavened Bread, that leaven must be purged from among our vessel and from among us collectively. That leaven of self-righteousness and pride. Humility is the safest place. Humility and faith, that's the safest place to be in this walk. Humility is not weak. Yah moves in all kinds of ways, but I think he gave us an example when he moved in that small, still voice, that quiet voice. After all of the other loudness came, you know. Yah can come loud. He can come soft. Yah is not limited. Hallelujah. Shalom, shalom.